Mesa Verde, guys. We started talking about it, but I don't think we really started talking about it. You're right. It's a national park, and it is located. Okay, first of all, what country is this? Who can tell me what country this is? Yep. No, 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 Angio. It is not Russia. It is America. I know you were kidding. Yeah, it's USA. So this highlighted part is where Mesa Verde is, and this red dot is kind of like the main part. So there you go. That's the Four Corners map. Very good. Very exciting. It has all four corners. These Mesa Verde notes, yeah, it's in four different states, yeah. But I mean, back then there weren't states; it was just land, right? Like the state lines didn't exist. It just was where it was. Pretty sweet. Now let's show you guys a few pictures of Mesa Verde because it's super cool looking, and I'm not just saying that because it's my job. Like it's actually super cool looking. Look at this. Would you just look at this? Now, who here can honestly tell me that doesn't look beautiful? Well, yeah, it looks tiny. It looks like a model or something. But look at these people. Look how tiny these people are in this picture. You can see how big it actually is. I see the people there above my mouse? Yeah, so it's actually like a city. These are all full-size buildings. Uh-huh. So as you can see, they build their houses like right into the cliffs. Which seems pretty smart, like if it'll help like deal with like rain and wind and all kinds of stuff.
Are they still in use?
Pardon?
Are they still in use?
They're just tours. There's tourism now. People don't still live there now.
Okay.
Pretty sweet though. So that's Mesa Verde. That's why we look at them. If you look at Mesa Verde notes, it has a whole bunch of useful information for you. This one right here. And that useful information is useful when you do this Mesa Verde test. So I'm not going to go into that. You guys can read that. But if you have questions, please let me know. And then the Mesa Verde updated. This is our big assignment for this week / last week. Many of you started working on it already, which is fantastic. I'll go over it in just a minute. But first, who would like me to read this letter? It's kind of the main resource before you start on this assignment.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a minute to drink some coffee because, well, this is a lot to read. So it starts off, greetings. I really hope you can hear me. Or, sorry, I really hope you can help me. No, I'm not off to a good start, am I? I've got a problem, and I don't know how to handle it alone. See, at school, we've been learning about the National Park Service, and my teacher, Mr. Inskeep, has planned a field trip to Mesa Verde National Park, which is only about 20 miles from my hometown. The class is working in teams to learn about the importance of preserving the past and what we can do to support national parks. But that's not the problem I need help with. My problem is that I have a secret, and I'm afraid everybody will find out the truth when we go to see Mesa Verde. See, I'm a Hopi, and although I'm proud to be Native American, I still want to fit in with my friends and classmates. Some of the kids in my class love to make fun of people who are different, making a big deal out of my Hopi roots. Making a big deal out of my Hopi roots is just asking for them to tease and mock me. My friend Hans is German and Chinese, but he wears jeans and t-shirts like everybody else. Why should I try to stand out? When I turned 12, my grandmother gave me a beautiful turquoise necklace. It is my most prized possession, but I stopped wearing it a few years ago. I worry that the kids at school will think I'm wearing it just because I'm Native American. My family doesn't understand my feelings. My brothers and sisters always speak in our Hopi language at home. It is so annoying. I mean, it's fine for talking with grandfather and all, but why can't they just speak English with me? You're probably wondering what all of this has to do with our trip to Mesa Verde National Park. See, my ancestors used to live on Mesa Verde, and I'm afraid if some of the kids in my class find out my ancestors lived in stone houses in the desert, they'll make fun of me. I'll never live it down. Most of my friends come from European or Asian cultures, like Hans. Their ancestors built fabulous buildings and created beautiful art. Items from their cultures are still admired around the world. What did my people do to compare to that? Nothing. They farmed and hunted and lived in stone huts without any glass in their windows. They didn't leave anything beautiful behind for us to admire. They were like cavemen or something. It's just too embarrassing. So I'm going to stop there. You guys saw those pictures. Do you think that looked pretty cool or like cavemen? Yeah, I thought it looked pretty cool too. Like super cool. Yeah, super beautiful. So the point is, this girl is clearly very embarrassed about her heritage and ancestry. So let's continue on. I've spent the last few years trying to fit in, dressing and wearing my hair like all the other girls, but I don't want this trip to Mesa Verde National Park to ruin my life now. I wish I could skip the field trip, but I know that I can't. Just last night, my folks were talking about the traditional Hopi dance we usually perform at the state fair. It's performed in full native costume in front of all the crowds there. What will my friends think? They'll make fun of me for sure. How can I get out of it without letting my parents know I'm embarrassed? This whole thing is stressing me out so bad that I'm having trouble sleeping. And when I do fall asleep, I have nightmares. So I'm going to stop right there because the rest of it's not super important. We get the point. Our goal is basically to help do this Mesa Verde updated assignment to make her feel better. And I accidentally just closed the wrong thing. Yes, I did. Whoopsies. So as we go in, the first question is kind of a three-pronged question. It asks, how did the ancient Puebloans shape the land? How did the land shape them? And what sorts of tools or technologies did they use? So we can see just from the pictures right there that, well, how did they shape the land, guys? How did they shape the land? Who can tell me? Well, what did the, go ahead.
They used all like the materials that they had around them, like all the sand and stuff, to make the sand houses and stuff.
Yeah, like they literally shaped the land into those crazy sand-looking houses in the cliffs. Yeah, they carved. If you look closely, those buildings are actually made out of blocks. Like if I click on one, see how you can see like the blocks a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's sandstone.
Yep, it sure is. I think there's also some limestone too here and there. But yeah, they used blocks and rocks to like put it together. So it's not just carved out, it is built. But it still looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah, they literally shaped the land. And you can talk about that. And then the land literally shaped them. Give me a sec here. That's the wrong one. Derp, 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 derp. Here we go. So three-prong, your goals. So the first question, you're just answering this part. I mean, definitely read the rest, do the resources. It's going to help you a lot. But how did the people shape the land? Also, how do they grow crops? You guys are going to learn about that. So, I mean, tilling and stuff like that is also shaping the land. Explain how the land shaped the people. So like it dictated what they could grow, where they had to live, the tools they had to use, what their way of life was. Hi, Nika. I'm glad you got on. I have been recording, and I'll put it up today, okay?
Okay.
So restarting helped, huh?
I think there was some complication that was going on somewhere that the computer just didn't want to load.
Yeah.
So it would load for 2 seconds and then just give up.
Oh, my computer's doing that too yesterday. It's awful. My computer's dying. Okay, so people shape the land. How did the land shape the people? And describe some of the technologies, tools, and processes and buildings that they created to help them live in that natural environment. So 3 parts. Make sure you answer all 3 parts. That's it for number 1. But check the resources. They are very, very helpful. Please check the resources. Part 2. How many people here in their entire life have ever read a picture book, like when you were a little kid, like Cliff the Big Red Dog or Berenstain Bears or something?
Yes.
So in those books, you see a picture that tells the story, and then a little bit of words at the bottom to help tell the story. But I mean, you can basically tell what's going on just by the pictures, right? So these are called petroglyphs, especially like really ancient ones. When you think about people, yeah, I did say Cliff the Big Red Dog. I sure did. So what you guys are gonna do? I said Clifford. Anyway, it's the same dog. We know who we're talking about. That's not the point. The point is, those books were awesome, and pictures told stories. So when you think about ancient drawings in caves, those pictures are kind of telling stories too, right? Yeah, exactly. So as you read through this, you're going to see that they told stories about all kinds of stuff. And now your job is to create 3 petroglyphs. Dun, dun, dun. You can Google petroglyphs if you really want. But they're like very simple pictures. You can use stick figures if you really want. And you're going to have 3 glyphs with picture symbols to represent ideas or people or animals or things. And you're going to tell a story using 3 pictures. And a little bit of words at the bottom. Like, I don't want a paragraph. I want like a sentence or 2 tops per picture. And you're going to tell a story with 3 pictures. And the story is going to be about your life and your culture. So like they would have had pictures to describe what their lives was like. So you're going to have like glyphs to describe what your life is like. Everybody got that? It's okay if it's boring. Like if your story is about you taking out the garbage and doing homework, I'm not going to dock you marks. If you want to make your story exciting and maybe have it about some of your hobbies, like how you dance or how you play hockey or something like that, that's great too. But you're just going to have 3 pictures with a little bit of words at the bottom to tell me a story about your life. And that's for part 2. So guys, this is all one big document, one big assignment. So hand them all in at the same time, just like with Ingolstadt. Yep, do your life. Anything you want in your life. Just has to be about you and your life, okay? Are you talking to me, Ron? Well, I don't actually watch hockey. But if I had to pick a team, I'd probably pick the Flames because I live in Calgary. But I don't watch hockey. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. Part 3. No, and I will talk to you all about how I don't watch hockey after I'm done explaining the assignments. Deal? Okay, part 3. So in the letter, we see how Larissa's kind of embarrassed about her ancestors and her heritage, right? Well, part 3.
So which one are we looking at? Which Missa Verde one?
Oh, it's the Mesa Verde updated on Moodle.
So what about the ones up top? Did you explain that earlier?
I did explain those all in the video. I'll go over it again
Okay.
real quick for you after I'm done here, okay? This is the Mesa Verde updated.
Okay.
Okay, and we're on quest 3, which is like towards the bottom. So she was embarrassed about her ancestors. Now in number 3, we're going to talk about your ancestors. So this might take a couple weeks for you to get a hold of your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents. But you're going to think about your own ancestors, your own family, and your own personal life experiences. So what do you know about your ancestors? Like, where did they come from? How are you connected with them? Like, do you still talk to them? What lands were your ancestors originally from? What was life like for them back then? Like, how is your story changing from that of your ancestors? Maybe like back in whatever countries they were from, or when they first came over to Canada and had to like build their own lives up from nothing, or who knows, right? I don't know your story. You're going to have to learn your story and share it with me. Now, this doesn't have to be super long, but I would be very awesome if you could tell me, yeah, that's pretty cool, Elijah, because you are like in another country. So it's easy for you to look that up probably. How's your story changing from that of your ancestors? But guys, I'm going to tell you right now, see where it says your goals here. This is what I'm marking you on, okay? Is making sure you answer these questions. This is where you get your marks. It's not a secret, okay? So as long as you address all of these, you're going to get marks. And you're going to write at least 2 paragraphs, no more than 4 paragraphs. Like if you give me more than 4 paragraphs or like 3 really, really long paragraphs, I'm going to dock you marks. Some of you need to work on keeping your work short enough. Silly spacebar. So what do you know about your ancestors? How are you connected with them? How is your story changing? Does your family have any special rituals or ceremonies that are unique? Like even Christmas is a tradition. But anything you can think of, family nights, anything specific you celebrate? What's going on in your family right now? Like what's the chapter, imagine your great-great-grandparents look back on your life, what's the chapter in your family history that you're writing? What do you guys do? Yeah. And what other lessons could people possibly learn from your story if they look up your life in like 50 or 100 years? What lessons could people learn from your story? So answer these and aim for 2 paragraphs, guys. 2 paragraphs is a nice number. Try to talk to your parents or grandparents or great-great-grandparents. Learn a little bit about what's going on. One thing I can promise you is that grandparents and great-grandparents love to talk about this stuff. So just ask them and they will be happy to tell you. I am sure of it. If you have a guardian or something instead and you can't get a hold of maybe your birth grandparents, that's fine. Just go with whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not going to dock you marks because you have like a guardian or like or you're adopted or something, okay? Oh, I'm sure they know a little bit. And if not, Maya, yeah, I'm sure they know a little bit. You can find out what I forget, you told me what your ancestry was at one point, right, Maya? What was it again? I remember it was something really cool and different. Because if you want, I might be able to help you a little bit. Okay, well, for you, Maya, one, you should try asking one more time just to see if they can tell you any stories. Even your parents or grandparents, just what life was like growing up for them, that's fine. And if not, you can Google it, okay? But even just ask, okay, yeah, that's cool. Tell me that story. You can tell me what your dad's like was like growing up. That's fine for you, because I know it might be tough for you. Sound good? Because that sounds like a really cool story, honestly. Okay, awesome. All right, sweet. Okay, so yeah, fun. It's a fun assignment. It's a little bit big, but I think it's a really fun one. So Nika, this other stuff, this is just a map showing you where Mesa Verde is. these are some notes that are going to help you. Nika, you're paying attention, right?
Yep.
Okay, so this one, Mesa Verde Notes, is going to help you with this Mesa Verde test. I didn't go into it, but that's what that's for. And then this is a
Okay.
letter. I did read it on the recording. I'm not going to read it again right now. So you can either read
Okay.
it yourself or listen to the recording. And this is where you hand in the updated. We already did talk about this one last week in the food quiz. Do the food quiz, guys. And then week 18, where we are now. Look, it's that Mesa Verde test I just talked about. It has some questions. Answer them. All of the answers are in the notes and in the updated assignment you do, okay?
Are the notes on week 17? I mean 18.
They are on week 17.
Okay.
And then I don't want you guys to worry about this unless you're done all the other stuff. But it is another short story. So guys, do not do this right now. I am not taking this for marks yet. This is open if you're done everything else. Doing this is working ahead. Tell your parents this is not due yet. I do not expect you to get this done and start stressing, okay? The elements of a short story and the pre-writing story map are part of the value of historical fiction. So get all the Mesa Verde stuff done first, because for this assignment, you're going to write me a short story, and it's going to be set in ancient Mesa Verde. So it's going to be about the ancient Puebloans. So you have to learn all about them before you can do this assignment. So you can't do this assignment yet. Bah ha ha.
Okay.
All right, so don't stress about this one. Do the other stuff first. I'm not going to mark you late if you don't get this one done for a couple weeks. Okay? Okay. Now, I did open 2 weeks this week, as some of you may have noticed. So here's week 19. I opened it because I wanted to open it. You guys can read. And guys, please, please, when you're on Moodle, read my little notes after every week bit, because there's a lot of instructions and stuff there, okay? It's very helpful. So,
Excuse me.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, do we do the, because you said you posted 2 weeks, week 19 as well?
Yep.
Do we do week 19 stuff before we do the short story?
I don't care.
Okay.
Week 19, I'm about to explain.
Okay.
I opened week 19 for kids like you, Gabriel, who are always nagging me to have more work to do. And I'm like, okay, I can do that for you. You're my bud.
Okay.
So I was thinking of you when I opened 2 weeks this week. So a lot of you have been asking me when you can start reading Kingdom's Dawn, and you can start now. That's why I opened week 19. That is the purpose. It tells you, here's your novel study package. If you've already read it, read it again. Because I guarantee you cannot give me a chapter by chapter summary on it if you read it when you were like 8. So, if you have the book, you can start reading it. If you don't, here are instructions for how to download it. So do your Kingdom's Dawn novel study. It's kind of I really should have fixed it, but anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. It'll be good. It has a whole bunch of stuff in this package explaining to you your entire novel study. There's literary terms worksheets you should work on as you get to certain parts. And there are vocabulary, and then there's chapter summaries. So the biggest rule when you're reading Kingdom's Dawn is after you read a couple chapters, do the summary. Don't read ahead without doing the summaries. Because once you're done chapter 11, you're not going to be able to tell me specifically what happened in chapters 3 and 4. You're going to remember what happened, but you're not going to remember what chapters it was in. So every time you read a couple chapters, do that summary. I believe it's broken up to like read chapters 1, 2, and 3, then do a summary, then 4, 5, and 6, and then do a summary. So it's a couple sentences for every couple chapters, basically. I don't want anything super, super long or detailed. Like, this isn't university. I'm not asking you to tell me what the author was really thinking and like what his dog was doing. Like, no, you're just giving me nice summaries, okay? Not super long ones. And you're going to find the most important information and write it. This is all written down, by the way, in case you forget. And if you have questions, please email me. But I can't see any of you having major trouble with it. But if you do, I am happy to help. That's why I opened week 19. Yeah, like I think it's 3 sentences, 4 sentences tops for every 3 chapters. Definitely don't give me more than 5 sentences for every 3 chapters. Yeah, like a short paragraph. A short
Can-
paragraph for every, like, I think it's 3 chapters. Yeah.
Can we
So,
get ahead with that?
yeah, you can work ahead as long as you do the summaries.
Okay, great.
Yeah, like as long as like it has it broken down. It tells you which weeks it has suggestions, and it's all written there. And I'll go over it next week because we're almost out of class time, and you guys have been great. And thank you. I'm sorry we weren't playing in 3DU a lot today, but I had a lot of work to get through. Also, I have one more fun thing to tell you. Do you guys want the good news?
Sure.
There's no class next week.
Where are you?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm in Calgary.
oh,
But I've been giving you guys so many big assignments lately that I could like literally feel the stress in the other class, and I can kind of feel the stress in this class. So we're going to take next week for you guys to just focus on breathing and getting caught up and making sure you have all of your work up to week 13 done. And it's also going to give me a chance to make sure I'm marking your resubmissions and getting stuff in. I am going to be here though, Levi. I will still be on, and I'll still be checking my email, and I'll even still be on Zoom if you guys want to come on just to chat or work with me a little bit. Sound fair? So I'm not taking a week off.
yeah,
I'm just not gonna give us a full class, okay?
okay.
So I will be here, Gabriel and Levi. I'm here to help you, but it's gonna be more like you show up to class and the teacher's just kind of sitting there eating apples, and he's there to help you. Okay? So you guys can come. You can have a class if you want. Well, I'm probably not apples. Probably like a peanut butter granola bar, more likely. You know what? Just don't overthink my analogies and symbolism here, okay? Don't focus on the apples.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys
With
can
the
come
peanut
in
butter
if you want. I'll be around
bars.
here and there. But we don't have an official class next week. We are going to have class for 2 weeks after next week, and then it's spring break at the end of the 19th or something of March is the official HCO spring break, but we'll talk more about that later. I
The
just figured you guys could use
19th
a
to
class.
what?
I figured you guys could use a class off because we haven't had one off since Christmas. And I realized that this week. I was like, wow, we haven't had a week off since like Christmas. That's crazy. So, you guys good? And yes, you can, Elijah.
Okay.
Then
I'll say it right now.
you guys are free to go.
I've memorized my bib reverse.
Oh, you have two? Okay, well then you
Yeah.
can. Okay, well anybody who wants to can stick around. I'm gonna do you one at a time in a breakout room.
Okay.
I see.
So I will make a breakout room. Actually, so we got Angio wants one, and you're very welcome, Natalia. Spring break is in a couple weeks, Maya. We just have next class off, and that has nothing to do with spring break, okay? Bye, guys. So we got Angio, and we have Nika, and we have Elijah. So I'm going to do Elijah, and then I'm going to do Nika, and then I'm going to do Angio.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
So we're doing Romans 3:22 to 24, right?
That's correct.
Okay.